Hello, Miss Day.
Hello, Miss Nilsson, and welcome to the Day Camp podcast. And for
Thank
those of
you.
you who wonder why Miss Camp is not here today, it's because she's out traveling. But I was so lucky to have a guest on the show, and this is Camilla Nilsson, and she will be attending the camp. So, Camilla, can you tell us a little bit who you are and also the story about how did you and I meet?
So first of all, thank you for having me, Annicken. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast, and I'm very much looking forward to the camp in Tuscany. But first of all, who am I? I've been in the clean tech sector, which I call it, for more than 15 years. Passionate about sustainability, and I've been bringing new technologies to agriculture and the energy sector as a CEO or as a CFO. And that's where my passion is, introduce new technologies. And that's where our journeys met, really. But how did we meet the first time? It was in one of those moments. Probably I was searching for some support from somewhere. I read a book, Fly, Butterfly. And the book was about Maya. And Maya was a businesswoman connecting a little bit more with her deeper purpose. And Maya spoke to me. It resonated a lot, what I read. I think I read the English version of the book, so I read it before it was launched in Norwegian. But I went to your book launch and I just felt I need to speak with you. So I think I approached you and said, hey, I am Maya and I need your help. Was that it?
Yes. That's one of my favorite meetings. And actually did get to come in and help you.
Yes, this was in the start of my journey with Kyoto, who is an energy storage company in Norway, and I've been leading that for 3-4 years. And that was when we started to work together. And you have, what should I call you? Have you been my cultural coach, maybe? But in parallel with us building the company, building the technology, which is both hardware and software, and we have raised capital in a very rough financial markets the last 3 years. But in parallel with that, we have also built the culture of the company. And we took that as serious from day one. So I think the first time you came to us, we were like 5 people or so. And the last meeting or gathering we had, we were 50 maybe. And you have been with us the whole way and building the culture of the company, which is basically the backbone of the company. So we have quite a journey together. You know the company inside out, and you know me inside out also.
Yeah, and that's been quite a journey, all of it, both you and the company. And you have also been, I think, the best, one of our best examples of someone who's really taken the corporate spring model, the model that my company has developed and coach our clients on. You are maybe one of those clients who's taken that model the most serious because you have really taken the roadmap, like step by step, build the culture. You have not rushed through it and tried to get fixed everything at once. You actually said, okay, first we need to master this one and we need to figure out this one. And then we have to let that mature and then we are ready to move on to the next. So it's really been a fantastic experience working with you and the team the last 4 years now.
And I think that's just how I work. I go deep in things, and maybe in business some people think I go too deep sometimes, but that's what happened with your model, because I realized that when I took each of those building blocks, it's basically 5 building blocks. It's not super complicated, but once you go deep in each of those blocks, it opens up a whole universe. So you go deep into the purpose, you go deep into the identity of what is identity, and then you go deep in the building block of trust, and that's a universe itself, and you're never gonna be finalized with that. You're always gonna live in those building blocks, and that's why I love working with the model, because it's so simple to understand and grasp. It's a framework, and it allows you to open each universe by itself. And then what happens in that box happens. And that's when you and your team are there to, okay, we're going to guide you through this process. So it's a fantastic model. Simple, easy to understand, no recipe, because there is no recipe for a culture, right? It's a living organism. So it's been a fantastic journey, but I shall stop now. I could talk for days about this.
Well, and as we also say, it's just the beginning, right? Because you are onto a new adventure now. So will you say a few words about that, what you are about to create?
Yeah, and it's almost like I blame you for that, because when I go, you like nudge me a bit to go deep, and when I go deep, you come in like come to the questions: who am I? What do I stand for? What is my purpose? Because it needs to be aligned with the company. And when Kyoto was sold to new owners last summer, and I left in October, it gave me an opportunity to go a little bit deeper. Okay, what is the next chapter? Who am I really? And what's my purpose? And that has brought me to the next chapter, which is rather on the capital allocation side. So I've been bringing new technologies to the market for 15 years, digital technologies, energy storage, biotech to agriculture. So technologies meant to help the world. But I see that it takes a long time, like do one company at a time. And I see that the problem is not the technologies. There is technologies available for all the problems that we have in the world, but it's the capital. It's the outdated economical system behind that refuses to transform. So we are still chasing for revenue at the cost of people and planet. I'm not against revenue, but for me, that's license to operate. All of us in business are here to create revenue, but for what? The revenue has to be for a purpose. And so I see that, okay, it's the capitalism that needs a transformation. It's not the energy transformation that is the most critical to fix. It's the capitalism, the driving force. So that's where I'm heading. So I'm establishing an investment company, and our purpose is to help those companies that I've been bringing to the market for 15 years. Now I want to help those CEOs and CFOs and who have been with the technology for the new world, but trying to raise capital in what I call the old world with old outdated metrics. But I want to disrupt that. Okay, we are here. We are going to help you with capital, and we know what journey you are on, and we are aligned in the mission with you. So that's what I'm doing. It's called Curia Capital, and it's in the making, but very exciting. And what I see, Annicken, is that, and I think you also see that the world is so ready for a change. It's like we are so overdue, and all the people in organizations are so ready for change, and the capital side is outdated. So I just want to realign this a bit. Let's move. Let's start building the new world. All the employees basically want to. It's just the old-dated system that is not ready.
I think, Camilla, this is one of the many reasons why you and I connected, because when I started Corporate Spring, it was to bring more purpose and passion and joy into the workplace. And you have been doing this in practice. And I think it's amazing the fact that you now are bringing this whole energy and also the tools that you have learned throughout these years into the capital market. And as you say, this positive light that we need to shine on it, because there's not enough people who speak about these things that you are speaking of, and that we are both very passionate about. And one of the purposes of the camp, it is bringing together people that want to make a difference, who are in positions or are in leadership roles where they can make an impact on other people's lives, on businesses, on the corporate world and on the world. And one of the things we want to make sure is that everyone can bring their own challenges into this group so we all can engage with it and discuss. And so you will hopefully get help and support, and you will be helping and supporting others. So one of the questions we're going to ask on the camp is like, what is the biggest challenges that you are facing as a leader at this moment?
How I see it, we are in between two times. We have one world that is falling apart. We see it's happening on the world stage for everyone to see and follow. And that is the outdated power, control, hierarchy, without the care and compassion and empathy. And in this situation, it's so important that we find each other, because the old world, it is falling apart. And it's going to change structure. It's going to change structure of companies. It's going to change structure of organization, of big leading organization. What's going to happen to NATO? What's going to happen to UN in this? I mean, it's happening all over in all layers. So I think in 5 years from now, many people are going to have different colleagues, work in different structures that they do today. But what is that? It's so uncertain. None of us have the crystal ball. How is this going to look exactly? So it's so important to find each other. And the camp that you and Audrey are creating now is, for me, one of those arenas. That's where we can come together. And you are nudging people to go deeper. Who are you? What do you stand for? And that's what we need to do now. Where do I find my like-minded? And how do we connect? And how do we work together, even though we maybe are not working in the same companies, but we stand for the same things?
And that's a wonderful way of seeing it, because I think that as these old structures are dissolving and new structure will emerge, and now we see more and more people are starting to broaden their perspectives, look at what's out there. And I think the workforce for tomorrow, or the organizational life for tomorrow, will require that we do learn from each other, that we do connect with people outside our organizations, finding the right people, having the right kind of conversations, and creating that together, to not have that top-down creation, but actually the people who are there to bring value can themselves build the kind of organizations that make sense for them. I think that in itself will connect to people's purpose in a whole different way. And what you're doing now is like you are walking a path that no one has walked before, as did I when I started my company, and creating it on your own terms, not because someone tells you this is a good idea, or there's an existing model that tells you how to do it. You do it because this feels right. And I think that is something that people, especially in the work world, will have to learn a bit more, to actually make decision that comes from what feels right instead of what they are told is right. And that's a big difference.
Yeah, and I'm convinced that that's where we are heading. It's more the inner wisdom that's going to lead us where we need to go, not what one leader somewhere points us in a direction. We need to follow our calling, and it's a bit scary to do that, because you need to trust a bit. You don't see the future, but you need to step, and you need to trust that the journey is going to unfold as you walk. And when you start to stand in your truth and speak your truth, then you're going to attract people. And that's amazing. And that's one thing that I see very clearly, because I'm changing a bit. I'm changing the ecosystem I'm used to work in. And so I need to build new networks. And the way to do that is to start speaking your truth. This is who I am. This is what I stand for. And suddenly doors open, new people come into your life. And that's how I think this is going to unfold. We connect and we stand in our truth. And by that, we find each other. And I think borders between countries, different companies, it's going to be less important going forward. But we're going to connect and collaborate beyond borders. It doesn't look like that at the moment. It's with the stock prices going left, right, and center, and the US and China having a power struggle, which you would see in the kindergarten, but now with men, with a lot of capital and weapons. So it's scary, but this is resistance to the new that is trying to be born. And so this might sound a bit bold, arrogant, I don't know that I meant, but I am happy about the old world falling apart. So I try to disconnect from what is happening. I'm not triggered by the news. I read the headlines, but it's the old world falling apart. Let it fall apart. My focus now is going to be on building the new. What is going to be after it has fallen apart? But it is scary and rough time. So that's why we need each other and we need to connect. So it's fantastic to go to a camp like the Corporate Spring Camp. And I've always loved the name that you created, Annicken, Corporate Spring, because it's the spring for business. We need a new corporations. And the first time I saw the name, I loved the name. And now I feel that I'm doing it. Okay, it's a spring for new. We need to give birth. I feel like a business midwife. We need to give birth.
You're like you're like doing capital spring. Capital spring or purpose spring or yeah. So you're bringing a new spring into an area that really needs it as well. So when we come to the camp, what do you hope will be your takeaways or what you will learn or what you will go home with?
What I look forward to the most is to listen in where people are on their journey in business, because I know there are people coming from US, it's people coming from Europe, from IT, from the energy sector. So I look forward to listen in. Where are people on their journey in these crazy times we are living? Because that will help me to guide both the company I'm starting and the book I'm writing to get the heart-to-heart connection with people who are on the similar journey, because it is people who feel a calling that come to those kind of camps. The people who want to listen in, who am I, what do I stand for, take a break, pause and recalibrate a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that. It's about soul-to-soul connections of fellow people in business.
So you've been here. Do you want to say a few words about like the experience of coming to Tuscany?
I think the name that you have for this camp in the book was Chill, Connect and Create. And nothing is more true than that, because if you want to connect with that inner wisdom, in that inner intelligence, you need to disconnect. You cannot sit like 8 hours in the office and you have 5 tasks to do in the next half an hour, and there's a business plan and you are behind and people are angry. You will not be able to connect with your inner intelligence if you do that. So you need to disconnect. And once you disconnect, you need to settle in that calmness, because there is a calmness that people are not used to. And that is when you connect with that intelligence. It's from there you shall start leading and start creating. So what could be better than sitting on a terrace in Tuscany and check out from this world, and then you check into that. You look out and you see the Tuscany hills and you have a good Italian meal on the table, maybe a glass of wine. There's no better place to disconnect, to connect.
Thank you. I think I'm going to sign up for this camp. Sounds fabulous.
I think you should. We're going to have fun.
We will have fun for sure. And it will be some amazing people coming. And I just can't wait for all those deep, interesting conversations that we're going to have. And also for all the exciting outcomes that's going to come as a consequence of this camp, because I know that will happen as well.
That's the beauty here. You have no idea what's going to come out, but you just know that it's going to be something amazing that you can walk away with.
Exactly. So our time is up. Thank you so much for joining me. Can't wait to see you in Tuscany in a few weeks. And everyone else, if you're curious to learn more about it, just check out the link in the comments to learn more about the camp. We still have a few spots left for someone who might feel called after Camilla's passionate and very vivid explanation of what is going to happen when you come to Tuscany. Thank you, Camilla, and see you soon.
Thanks for having me, Annicken. See you soon in Tuscany.
See you soon.
Ciao,
Ciao,
ciao.
ciao, tutti.